Hey guys, this is Pedro back with another interview covering VCT Americas KICKOFF 2025. For this occasion, I'm here accompanied by Asuna of 100 Thieves, coming off of a match against Sentinels in which they came out on the losing end, but hopefully they can bounce back for the next match. And so, Asuna, thank you so much for the conversation, a chance to do the interview. Gotta give you the obvious first opening question. Coming out on the losing end to Sentinels in a pretty back and forth affair, what's going through your mind?
Mm, I would say we felt it was really winnable, especially after the first map. So losing Bind and Pearl like that obviously doesn't feel too good. I definitely think the Bind 4-0 round where we got thriftied and Pearl attack round where we got thriftied. This doesn't start the round or like map off on a good note where we should be like snowballing, building, our economy, making the rounds clean, but we end up not doing it. So yeah, just about that. But when we do play our best, like we did on Split, then we get the result we want.
It definitely did have plenty of flashes of what the 100 Thieves can what the 100 Thieves team can do in the server, as you said in Split. I mean, you kind of mentioned right there in those two rounds in Bind, and also probably assumedly so in Pearl. I mean, it would be fair to say those were the turning points. And so that said, I asked to you, Asuna, what do you think this changed within the team within that time frame that kind of went from your team's favor to Sentinels' favor?
Mm, I mean, it's just economy, momentum, so everything really. Wouldn't say I can't pinpoint what changed. Nothing really, for me changed. I'm still playing the round the same as every other round. I would say definitely didn't catch on to Brim Molly, Tejo Molly, Viper Molly, post plants on bind, and it's very difficult on Pearl as well. Tejo Molly's come in, and Suck is there. They have a lot of post plant utility that we need to be more aware of and need to play a lot more quicker, decisive, stuff like that. I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, although you guys lost to Sentinels today, you guys have another chance to bounce back against your respective opponent, which I believe is NRG. But with not focusing on NRG in the future and stuff like that, I want to focus on how you viewed the team's overall form after playing these two matches so far in the kickoff. Defeating MIBR and then losing to Sentinels. How do you kind of view the team's form, in a general sense after these two matches?
I think when we're playing like we usually do, we're the best team in the world. Like you saw 13-4 on Sen's pick or Sen's split pick. Obviously we have a lot to do on bind. Might have to change that. Blah blah. We'll see in the next 6 days. But I would say our form's pretty good. Everyone individually is clicking. There's no holes, nothing. It's just macro stuff. I would say nothing micro or individual lost us that game. It was mainly just calling and not on like boostio, but like prep, our individual calling that leads to calls, stuff like that. I think was the bigger takeaway. But overall, I would say if we had like it's easy to say this, but if we just like had a VOD of not a VOD, but like if this was like stage one, split one, um, and we knew what kind of comps Sen would run, like small things, like, good prep work. I think that's where we would shine way more than them, especially because, you don't really play against a Yoru, Tejo comp and scrims that often. Not saying that's why we lost. I definitely don't think, but it was definitely a first time for all two maps. Fine, we definitely played that against that comp, so we should have had better reps and been, close it out 2-0. But Pearl was definitely unique and they did a good job.
I mean, you said it right there. Was it kind of a surprise when you saw that they were going to bust out the Yoru Tejo comp in Pro?
No, because we saw the split comp, so we know that like if you're doing it on split, then maybe Pearl's a possibility. I wouldn't say it's anything crazy. I mean, it's just the like when you're talking about the map, you have to consider all possibilities. Like for all we know, they could have ran Phoenix on Zelsis. Like we talked about it briefly, but like it's you never know what they're gonna run, and it's just hard sometimes to be prepped for everything. And I would say we're a lot more of a I'll say fundamental basic team. Like we focus on a lot more of like macro, micro stuff, and comp, it falls in place. Like it doesn't matter how the comp's played, that comp should win you the game on the map because it's just like the bread and butter. Like if you know how to play the map with that comp, then you'll win. You don't need to do anything funny, nothing, you know. stuff like that, where obviously their comp, it feels like, if you just had like like if they played MIBR, let's just say roles reversed, they played MIBR, and then we saw
Mhm.
Pearl, we'd be ready for it, prepped, blah blah blah. They got to see our Lotus and Bind, which Bind, I mean, you have like a year's worth, so to speak. Obviously, we changed things up, but you know what I mean. And then Lotus, they saw our Lotus comp. So that's only two maps, but you know what I'm saying. Like as the year goes on, I think we'll be a lot better and more, I guess, prepped, especially with a new agent like Tejo. That's another part that I'm not bringing up. I was just saying Tejo, like saying as if they're unique for picking it. I'm saying it's another point is like Tejo coming out and like we don't have as much experience against him in a match setting. You can argue scrims, yes, ranked, yes, but like I mean, matches is where it matters and how teams will play it. I think the biggest takeaway was the amount of trap plays that this is obvious, but the trap plays to look out for against Atejo. A lot of the teams I've been watching are pretty bad at them. Sentinels was definitely one of the better teams.
Mhm.
Like trying to catch me in U-Haul. They did a good rope split, unsplit ropes play where they Tejo missile and then like Euroflash. Just like the small things was really good by them. And obviously, the more reps you get it, you can be more prepared for it. And feels like I'm trying to think of on the fly things on how to counter a Yoru flash, Tejo missile, on split. And it's like, I mean, I played against Tejo on split, and I know he can missile, but I'm not expecting the Yoru TP as well. Obviously, that's something you should be ready for, but it's like one rep and now type of deal.
Mm.
It's not like they can't do it again. Well, maybe they can catch me again, but who knows? You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is like once you know that play, it's in the back of your head and you'll be ready for it.
Yeah, because like playing against like an agent like Teiko, well, at first it might be a little surprising and might kind of catch you guys off guard. In the long run, given that it happens this early on in the year, it can help you guys kind of like recognize the patterns that an agent like Tejo can bring into a given comp, whichever teammates they have. So in essence, it's very like critical for you guys to kind of have this experience this early on. That way, you can kind of deal with future situations later on down in the season. And so that's it. I kind of want to focus on more so your form because I believe you performed pretty well, pretty admirable in MIB against MIBR in that first series in particular, and also like kind of continue early on against Sentinels. And a two-part question: how do you kind of view your individual contribution, and also like how do you kind of view your a play in the duelist role with like these changes to the game with like Tejo and then also Fractured Lotus affecting your duelist role? So how do you kind of view your form this so far in this competition, and how do you kind of view the changes to the game affecting your role?
I mean, I feel extremely comfortable, and whether farm or not, I feel like every game I'm playing pretty good and trying to make the best calls. It's just like I said, I'm a very much it's hard to explain how I get experience in the game, but I would say it's like through repetition. I don't really, I can't like, you can look at something theoretically and be like, oh, they'll do this, then that. And, you could try to cook it up before, but I'm more of a reps kind of guy. Like if I do something 1,000 times, I'll get a hang of it. So, after playing on stage so often and, you just get used to it and it feels really comfortable after a while, especially when you don't have to deal with like outside game stuff last year. But yeah, and then with the map pool changes, feel like, yeah, I'm playing duels a lot more, which is, good for me and also bad because I think Cryo has one of the best jets in the world. So, you always want to try to slot that in whenever you can. And his op is insane. Obviously, wish we closed out Pearl to, prove that point even more. But yeah, I also enjoy playing KO a lot, calling plays, doing stuff. It's obviously harder individually because you're supporting your teammates and, you're not getting the support that you would as a duelist. Like when I'm playing Neon against MIBR, it's like a lot of the kills I'm getting are freebies. They're scanned, they're stunned, they're blind. It's like, yeah, I'm 17 and 6 on farming, but a lot of the stuff that my teammates are doing just makes it a lot easier versus KO where I flash for my teammates and they collect the freebies and then I'm like put in like the hard duels, which obviously it's just going to look worse statistically, which it might make me or whoever's playing like support look a lot less in form or whatever. But yeah, just getting a lot more duels reps because last year I don't know how often I played duels. Obviously we played Vine a lot, but I think we banned Lotus a good amount this year. Trying to change things, have a 7 map, stuff like that. Um, yeah, don't know if I answered your question fully, but
No, at the very least, you gave me plenty of insights on how you kind of view your role and how you kind of like try to fend off whatever strategies your opponents give off to you. So, definitely good on that. I really do appreciate you giving me insights about that. One more question I want to squeeze in before I wrap it up. As I said, the next opponent being NRG. What are your impressions? You got any thoughts like against them in your upcoming match?
We definitely, as a team, didn't lose any confidence after this game. I think it's just one of those moments where you should have won, but at least sounds weird to say, but you didn't get stomped. You know you can win next time. Like, if I played that Pearl comp, Bind, or Bind maybe not, but Pearl again, I think we would have had a better read on the game, done so much better. Um, a lot of things, just went slightly wrong. Where, honest to God, like if we played it again, I would have played a lot of rounds differently, just due to the reps that I just had. Either way, I think NRG should be scared of us. It's not like they know how good we are, and they are obviously going to respect us and watch back both our games. And we have one game to watch back on them, and obviously the Soup Korean tournament that they played. But we'll see. We got 6 days, I believe, the 24th. So yeah, lots of time. Well, not lots of time, but a lot of time in between a playoff bracket than you're used to, I would say. So yeah, should be an exciting game, and excited to play Ethan again.
Course, and thank you so much for the interview, man. I really do appreciate giving me all of your answers for this conversation. So that's it. Awesome. Thank you so much, and best of luck. Go see you in your next match.